Gabriel, who I have had on my show through his channel, has said that it's 2,000 years. We've started the age of Aquarius, where we are becoming more spirit conscious.
Yes.
And then 2,000 years after this, we'll become more God conscious.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, the children being born today, I mean, I'm trying to answer the question, you know, what is our purpose? What is our plan? What is God's plan? Do we have complete independence over life? Yes, we do. We are not predestined. We have free will. Very quickly, I think we're kind of maybe running out of time.
Not yet.
Okay. But the children being born today are being born so much more aware, that awareness that Abraham had, that awareness that Jesus of Nazareth had. You know, you asked me, how do we know? Children, knowledge is innate. You know, we're born with everything we have to know. People who go to school and we go to college, it's like shoving so much garbage into a garbage pail. It's keeping us locked into the unreal world, into the illusion.
Well, you're right about children, because I know someone who I came across. He was with his son, and he said to me, "Do you know what my son just said to me?" The child was 4 years old at the time. I said, "No, what did he say?" He said, "He just said to me, 'You know, Dad, I chose you.'" And I said, "Out of the mouths of babes." You know, it's the truth.
There you go.
But what I would like to know is, now you're saying that we have free will, we can do as we please, good or bad.
Yes.
But if we're not doing something good, then are we? I mean, what I'm trying to ask you is, when we're doing the right thing, we're more comfortable with ourselves, and when we're not, are we less comfortable?
Well, I think so in truth. Now let me explain this. You've got the real world and the unreal world. People who are living in the unreal world, who are living in illusion, yes, they can get all of the joy, all of the satisfaction, all of the pleasure out of doing bad. See?
Out of doing something that's against God's laws.
It's like the chakras. You know how the chakras work?
Right.
The energy comes through.
Yes.
And the Kundalini is the will to survive. The next chakra up is the will to procreate. And the third one up is power. And it's not until we get to the heart chakra that we begin to love. So many people are still living below the waist. And they're not enlightened. They're very, very rudimentary. They're human beings. Not all human beings are equal, like the Constitution says. We're equal under the law.
Well, we were born equal. It's what we do after that makes us unequal.
But some of us, like you had said, do I believe in reincarnation? How many times have we been here? You've got people who have come very recently, and they're still learning. They're like babes. Then you've got other older souls, like Mother Teresa, and other saints and prophets who have been around the track quite a few times, and they learn. I wanted to say, you would ask me a question. Free will, free will.
Right.
Let me explain that. We have free will, and that's true. We all have free will, and you've heard this. I cannot, even though you're me and I'm you, and the camera person and that one and the people in the control room are me, they are you, and I am just as, and they are just as much me as I am them. But free will means that we each have autonomy. I do not have the right to enslave another person. I do not have the right to control another person. We have free will. Now, how does that interpret spiritually speaking? Free will means, in relationship to the real world, the unreal world, that which is in alignment with the will of God, and that which is out of alignment with the will of God. Free will gives us the choice to go with alignment or out of alignment, but it does not give us the power to change the truth. Free will does not give us the power to change what's in alignment, to change the will of God, to change the truth, to change reality. The only thing free will does is gives us the autonomy to keep from being enlightened for as long as we can stand the pain.
That's a very interesting statement, that is. So now you're saying that, all right, within the will of God, we should like go to work and earn our money so that we can live and get the things that we need. Now, being outside the will of God would be to go and rob a bank to get the money to get what we need.
Oh,
Is that
gee, I
correct?
don't know. That's kind of.
I mean, I would think
I
that-
have a feeling. I'm just. My feeling is that that's very much that example is very much in the unreal world. I mean, these are things that you have to do in the unreal world, in the world of illusion. We have to go to work. We have to. In reality, we need do nothing. Who says we have to go to work? Who says we have to do anything?
The landlord, the bank, the utility companies.
Supposing I wanted to just go on the beach and pick up stones and glue them together and make beautiful mosaics and maybe sell them to tourists. All right, in a way.
That's work, though.
In a way, you're saying it's work. But the difference is I'm doing something I enjoy. What I'm trying to say is that if we do things that we enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Oh, it's
Instead of
always
things that
nice.
the society dictates. Like, we're so overworked. Everybody's running. My God, I used to work in Manhattan years ago. By the time I got up at 6 o'clock, to be to work at 8, get off at 4, be back home at 6. And, you know, that's 12 hours a day.
That's right.
And we're so busy running around doing that, paying for the computer, taking the children to a private school. Everybody's living to their limit. The more money we make, the more money we need.
That's
This is
true.
not. See, so
Oh,
what
and
I'm
most
trying to say.
people spend more than they make,
Yeah.
and they get in debt.
So when you use that example as what we're supposed to do, I'm trying to draw the line to show it's a fine line. There's nothing that we're supposed to do. There's nothing that we have to do except open and receive. Open and receive more of that enlightenment.
But
It's like being in a room that's completely dark and there's a little crack in the wall. That's the light of God. That's the enlightenment. If we focus on that and we expand on that and we bring more of that and we breathe that into our life, then the darkness disappears.
Yeah.
And we don't have to work as hard at these chores that we don't enjoy doing.
Are you saying that people could give up their job in the city and just sit home and wait for God to take care of them?
Well, no, because as we've already said, if we're driving along the road and the traffic light is red, we can't just say, "Oh, well, God's going to take care of me," and drive through the traffic
That's
light.
true.
You know,
That's right.
we can't yell fire in a crowded theater. I mean, there are certain things. Again, God does not want idiots for children.
Well, it's the same thing as I said before. I mean, it's in God's will that we earn our living and take care of ourselves in the right way rather than the wrong way.
All right, what's the thorn in my side that I feel is you're attaching making a living to God's will.
Well, we have to live, right? We have to survive, and in this day and age and in this society, we need to have money to do that.
Okay, I'm sure you're familiar with a miracle, a
Yes.
quantum leap, an epiphany,
Absolutely.
spontaneous remission. If we stopped striving, miracles would happen.
You think
That's what
so?
I'm saying.
Really?
Yes. Just like when you live in alignment with the will of God, the government can't touch you. The mafia can't touch you. A fire cannot even burn your house down. God protects you. There's that unseen energy that protects us. And when we're living in the unreal world, we're looking at everything and we're reasoning everything out with our mind and our eyes and our ears, and we're using our senses, and we're saying, I'm God. You know, in reality, we're saying, no, I want to be the maker and the doer. See? But when we do that, and we want to provide for ourselves, and that's original sin. That's what Adam did. He's in the Garden of Eden, and he's got dominion over every living, moving thing. He names everything. He's able to create. He's creating everything. But what happened was, everything was fine. He was walking naked with God until he reached the day that, with all of his wondrous things that he was creating, it used to be that he was feeling the energy of God, the power of God moving through him as he created. But I believe that the original sin was when he observed the apple or whatever it was, and it was a thing that he created, and he believed his joy was coming from that. That was the fall. And that's the trap that we're all born into. We're all born into this world of illusion, this unreal world. We're all born into this creation of ourselves. We're seeking the thing we are. It's like seeking for something we are. We're already God and we're looking for God.
So are you saying that we should trust more in something called fate?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
You think that if something is meant to happen, it's going to happen come hell or high water?
No, that's predestined.
Well, isn't fate predestined?
No. What I am saying is that what's going to happen is what we choose to happen. If I'm a man and I get mugged, I chose that. If I'm a woman and I get raped, I wanted that experience.
Now, how do you figure that?
Nothing happens because we have the power. We are God. We are God. We are creators, and nothing happens to us by accident.
What about being born with a terrible disease?
Every child that comes into the all right, let's look at life and death as a house. Right now, we're in the dining room, say.
Okay.
And when we die, when we go to sleep and we're laid down in a morgue, we wake up in the living room. That's the real room. That's the real world, heaven. That's what's in alignment with God. That's our soul is living in the living room for an eternity. In eternity, when we go to sleep and we're born, we wake up in the dining room. So life and death is just a matter of going from one room to the other.
Back and forth?
Back and forth.
So what you're saying is that you can come into this world being healthy in one life and sick in another life and somewhere in between in another life.
Yeah. We've all experienced a slave, a king. We come as male, we come as female. We experience rich, poor. We experience the gamut, everything.
I see what you mean. I see. Well,
and we are in control. See, it's like these eyes. They're not cameras bringing things in. Nothing is happening to me. There's no demons out there.
So you think that we draw our lives into ourselves by our own thoughts and our fears and our...
Yes. The condition of our mind. When I say the condition of our mind, I mean the condition of our mind being out of alignment, in illusion, illusional, or in alignment, being at one with God, thinking in alignment with God. That's the kind of life we live. In other words, two people can observe the same thing. Now this is very important. When I was in the Army, there was many soldiers who had seen death, who had been in battle and seen their buddies shot, heads blown off, killed. And there was other soldiers who never saw anything like that. Each one who saw that was, the reason they saw different things, it was a measure of how much in alignment they were with the will of God. When we're in alignment with perfect peace, with perfect harmony, with singing and dancing, and this is what God's will for us is, we're not going to see the crime. It's not going to affect us. It's like I said before, even the fire will not burn our house. We are living, each of us are living in our own world. There's 6 billion experiences going on in this one. It's all happening right here and now. Time is an illusion. Time is man's measurement of eternity. We're in eternity right now. We're in eternity right now. But we use the clock to measure 2 seconds between now and now. But now and now is eternal. And when you start viewing life from that eternal perspective, it takes a transition within our mind. And religion, the priests and the ministers and rabbis and whatever religion you are, they're trying to teach people this message. But it's good, no matter what religion you are, it's good. It's better to have some religion than no religion, because then as you begin to taste that little light that's coming through the darkness of your mind, see your mind is that room that's dark, and this little light, and maybe religion is the one that sparks that gives you a rift, that opens the light, and you start focusing. If it's Christianity, you start studying about esoteric Christianity, and that's far different from what the priests teach at Mass every Sunday. So the main point is that we are creators, that we're made in the image and likeness of our Creator. And what does a creator do? A creator creates. You don't go to the store and get sardines from a chicken.
No.
You don't go and get tulips from an acorn.
Right.
You don't go getting, I don't know, corn from squirrels.
I guess.
We are made in the images like this of our Creator. We came from creators. We are creators.
All right, so then you're saying that we have control over our lives and what happens to us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And just with our thoughts and the way we our attitudes.
Every thought, this is like, it reminds me of like witchcraft. You know, I don't know how much you know about witches and druids and
a little bit from doing this program and meeting people,
you
but
know that during the Reformation and during the Christianization of Ireland and Northern Europe, they had these seers, and these were people that had this ability, that had this talent, that had this they were able to they were in touch. That's why you know, Christmas and all of these, the equinox and the changing of the seasons. The man and the woman used to go out and make love naked in the field in the spring to show the corn what they wanted it to do.
You're kidding.
No. Yet today, sex, oh my God, that's a voodoo. Oh, you know, I mean, sex, relationship is everything. Oh, and this world is diametrically opposed to God and God's will. We're taught that sex and love, well, they call it sex, and they say that we have all kinds of laws against it. But we don't have any laws against love. But in a lot of ways, it's,
well, it also depends on who you're relating
you're loving?
to. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're relating to somebody else's husband or wife, I mean, that's not right, is it?
Oh my God. There's, you know that the first law is judge not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know God's, that I'm not going to judge. That reminds me of a story of an assassin in India, ancient India. And this guy was the king's assassin. And whatever the king said, go out and kill that guy, he would go out there and he was great. He was like a ninja. I mean, he would kill him right away.
Yeah.
And so...
Had no conscience?
Apparently not. So the king had to send them to this village that was in uprising. He was going to go down there and straighten it out. He sends his henchman, his assassin, over there. So in India at that time, there was a lot of pride and ego. So anyway, the henchman is riding down the road, and there's another guy with a big ego in the road. So the henchman didn't want to go around him. And he says, get out of my way. And the other guy wouldn't get out of his way. They wound up having a duel. The henchman kills him. So the assassin kills this guy who wouldn't get out of his way. And as he killed him, he sort of like received enlightenment. Sort of like Paul on his way when he was stricken blind for 3 days. Yeah. And then he was actually against the Christians. And then after that, he saw...
God said to him, what are you doing to my people?
So something this story is very, very similar. So the assassin, who had already assassinated 99 people, he gets enlightened, and he takes the place of the person who was in the road. I believe the person that was in the road was a holy man. See? So, and he had such a strong ego, he kills the holy man. But when he kills the holy man, the divine energy gets stricken within him, and he wakes up. He transfers from the world of illusion to the world of reality, and he takes the holy man's place. And he kneels there, and he prays, and that's his spot for about a year. And the king is wondering, well, where's what happened? He hasn't heard from him, so he sends out another henchman. So the new henchman, the second henchman assassin, is coming down the road, comes into the first assassin, who's the holy man now, challenges him to a duel. The first henchman, actually being an assassin, kills the second one and goes straight to heaven.
Now, the henchman that took the place of the holy man killed the guy that came down the road?
Killed the second henchman and went straight to heaven.
Now, how did he go straight to heaven?
This is a story to demonstrate that we do not understand the will of God. He went straight to heaven because the 100th one he killed actually saved thousands of people back in that village who the second henchman were going to go and assassinate to bring him into line to follow the king, the king who was not just.
So in other words, then the second henchman got killed, so then all these 1,000 people didn't get killed.
Right, and the man who actually killed him, he had killed 100th people. This was the 100th person that he killed. He went straight to heaven. So we never know.
In other words, you think that he was meant to kill that
No,
other
I don't
guy?
think. I do think, but what I'm saying is, spiritually, we have to get into that non-thinking, where we have to open and receive. In other words, on spiritual matters, you heard of meditation, you heard of, peace, and calm yourself, and meditate, and wait on the Lord. You've heard of that. And wait for the energy, and you can feel it. And you can feel it going down your chakras, and you can feel it going through your body. And you have to, it's like a connoisseur. You can't go out and just stuff yourself with all kinds of food and then be a connoisseur of, fine delicacies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So the same thing is with morality. You can't just go out there and be a glutton.
No.
And you just can't go out there and abuse everything.
Right.
You must be on the path, or be on the, I guess that's a good word, be on the path. You must be aware. And as you quiet yourself and stop disturbing your own peace. We all disturb our own peace with our ego and our mind, and we got, everything that's going around us.
So are you saying that if we want something, we should just put it forth to the universe and wait for it? Give God the opportunity to work in our lives, to move in our lives?
Believe it or not.
Yes.
You took the words right out of my mouth. There's
Really?
such a thing called as the Universal Shopping Network, and that's exactly how it works.
Really? Are they on the internet?
No, they're right here in your mind. Here's how it works.
Okay.
You want a new car?
Yeah.
Come on, you've heard of this so many times before. All of the self-help people out there are talking about the same thing. They're doing it, but they don't really understand how it works. But it does work. There's a sound spiritual principle behind it. We are creators. They tell you, pick up the magazine, pick out the car you want, pick up some more magazines, cut out the house you want, pick up more magazines, pick out the boat and the vacation you want to go on. And what you do is you look at the picture. Now your mind knows what you want, and you just let it go. And you wait, and it manifests itself. You actually manifest it. The reason that people's prayers are not answered is because the thought is not pure. They think of the prayer, and they pray, and then they start worrying, oh, but I did this, or, oh, I'm not good enough, or, and they have all of these conflicting ideas, and the universe doesn't know what to give them.
So then you just let it go and forget about it?
Yes.
Go about your business every day?
Yes.
And what you seek will find its way to you?
Yes. I heard this years ago. I didn't believe it when I did believe it, but I was quite surprised, and I was happy to believe it. You want a new refrigerator? Just pick out in the newspaper the most beautiful refrigerator that fits your need, and have that thought in your mind, and then just forget about it. Go on with your life. And don't disturb your own peace. We all disturb our peace, and that's what's happening in the world.
And somehow or other, what we want will find its way to us.
Not somehow or other. Very, very deliberately.
Yeah.
And very, very purposefully. Mm-hmm. We are creators. We're either when we're being irresponsible. I created my life. I'm driving the vehicle that I'm driving. I created that vehicle. If I want to be driving a Mercedes or a Buick or a BMW or a Rolls Royce, it's my responsibility.
So then you think that people who don't have what they want it's because they don't put it out right, and then just go on from there.
Exactly.
Wait for it.
They don't know how to be. They don't know how to use the mechanics of consciousness. They don't have the, people like to use the Bible, they like to use the Quran, they like to use the Bhagavad Gita, they like to use these spiritual texts as a guide. And they work well enough for most people. But if you really want to improve on that, we are creators. We create everything that we experience.
And then we just have to have faith and forget about it.
Well, have faith, but always stay aware. Always be humble.
Yeah.
That was something that
Be humble and have an attitude of gratitude.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
But my personal experience is always be humble and realize whatever talents I have. I know that it's not me. It's not this body. I'm very happy with my body. I'm very happy with my life. But the point is to be grateful to God for the gifts that I am. I am grateful to God.
Yes.
For the gifts that I am, for the abilities that I have. Pride is when you think, oh, I did this, and you stick out your chest and you push people around, and you're strong and you're healthy, and you're, you're robust, and you go out there. I did this. And so what I'm saying is, you don't do things and forget about it. You imagine these things, this car, the refrigerator, the home, the vacation, and then always be present with God. Always keep God in your mind.
Well, that's very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Roy. It was another interesting conversation we had. And we'll have another one in the future. We're going to talk about Abraham
in
more
yes,
detail.
in more detail.
In the meantime, I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Good night. Thank you.